Greetings and salutations, netizens. This is Wolfphototech, and here we go with another delightful video. Oh, and by the way, if you're kind of curious why I hold stuff like this, is because I was actually suggested at one point in time to be a hand model and an eye model. So I got some training in hand and eye modeling techniques, but of course, I got concerned like that teacher might have been hitting on me too, but okay. This is the Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 edition, or version 3.5 Dungeons & Dragons Deluxe Character Sheet pack. This is a rather super handy dandy character sheet pack. This actually feels more deluxe than typical deluxe character sheet packs. For whatever strange reason, Wizards of the Coast is going downhill in the quality of some things, but also uphill in other things. But okay, there's this handy dandy outer protective sleeve that protects the actual inner folder. Slightly different artwork on both of them. So there you go. You have a nice bit of variety. But as we go ahead and open it up, as you can notice, there's actually an error in the production with my folder. This has been glued or set down in the wrong spot and bent in. So the corner of the ability score information for levels 15 to 20 is obstructed by the distorted corner. It's all on one side, but you have both side packets. On this side, there is the information for best your saving throws by level, based on the four major categories of saving throws and attack bonuses. So you have the good saving throw, you got the poor bonus saving throw, you got the base attack bonus, it's good, you got the base attack bonus average, and you got the base attack bonus poor. And then you have on this side a list for levels as well, just like over here. But this time it's experience per level, class, spell, max, ranks. So how many ranks you can have in a class skill. I think I said spell, but it's skill. Maximum cross-class skills. Those right here. Listed in this section. And then right here is your feats. And your ability score increases right here. And this is 1 to 10 here. And this is 11 to 20 here on this side. So now that we have covered the folder and let down that mine is damaged by defect, we can get into the actual deluxe character sheets. Now, I really do actually like these character sheets. They are exceedingly well organized. You have all your basic character information up here. The header is actually very clean, but it also conveys exactly what it is about. This is Dungeons & Dragons. This is the Barbarian sheet. And you see that all your basic information is up here. Character name, player name, alignment, deity, size, age, gender, height, weight, campaign, and race right here. You have your basic stats right here. Your ability scores. You got your saving throws right here. You got your base attack bonus information right here, and your grapple bonus, spell resistance, and speed information right here. And this is all your attack bonuses and your mark-offs for your projectiles. You got your conditional AC modifier information right here, your AC right here, calculation, your HP, your damage reduction, and your initiative information right there. And you have touch AC and flat-footed AC right over here, up top of here. And then you have all your skills listed out here. This is actually a pretty good range of blank skills. Like you have a total of 5 knowledge spots here, which is actually pretty good. And 3 perform spots, as well as 2 professions and 3 crafts up here. I could always go with more crafting spots and more knowledge spots, because that's just how I like to play it. And then open this, I pull out the bard and all the rest. And unlike typical character sheets, this is actually a fold open sheet here that actually has a section for possessions, carrying capacity calculations, capacity while raging, containers, wealth, your feat list, your notes. And on the back side here is your experience, armor, protective items, racial traits, class features, and you have a spot for sketching out your character right here. And as I said before, I have to back up. This is a special Barbarian character sheet. You actually have some modifications to the design of this sheet, specifically to Barbarians, like carrying capacity while raging. And it's also marked for your class skills over here. It's checked off. Like climb, craft, handle animal, jump, listen, ride, survival, swim. So you got the basic gist of that. And as I'm going to pull the bard up, there's the main page you see is pretty much the same as the Barbarian, except for obviously the bard up here. But they have all the skills for the bard checked here for you ahead of time. They omit the raging adjustment for the bard, because bards don't rage unless they're metal bards or barbarians. You have some rearranging of some things. You got a larger language section for bards, because they naturally would just get better at language than barbarians. You have information on the back here for racial traits. But you also have, right here, this is the Barbarian sheet right here. You also have information on class features for the bard right here, as well as you got your counter song, you got your fascinate, your inspire courage, inspiring competence, suggestion, inspire greatness information, information for Song of Freedom, and inspire heroics. And then you have also a section over here for your bardic song per day and song used and so forth. So these sheets are actually very well pre-designed for your character. I also have to point out that in here there's also a section for your spell slots. So you can keep track of all your spell slots that's on this page. And the same thing occurs, same page for the Barbarian. You got your feats on the left here for both classes, but for the Bard, they have a little section for the spell slots, where the Barbarian just has a few more spots for feats. Yet again, same thing applies to Cleric and Druid. There is wands and staffs information right here, specifically to the Cleric. The Cleric and the Bard have wands and staffs, and a longer list of this and that. Where the Barbarian does not have wands and staffs. See, there's a wands and staff section for the Bard, and there's no wands and staffs for the Barbarian. And then you have spell slot section over here. You got a different back right here. You got armor protection items, class features listed out over here instead of so at the back. This is the Cleric sheet. This is the Bard sheet yet again. You got basic information here for your Cleric features, and you could fill out the rest over here. And then you have a slight different arrangement for your racial items and your armor protections and such. And so these sheets are actually really nice. They're a good base foundation for understanding a good design for a character sheet. Yet again, this is very simple. This is a Druid. They don't have a wand and staff section here, but they have a section for animal companions and common wild shape forms. So if you have a Druid who really likes his rhinoceros, you can put your rhinoceros information right here. You can put your giant ape here, and so forth. You also have, yet again on the backside, you got a section for your class features to write out, as well as your armor and protections. You have a section, you have a character sheet for the fighter. You notice that there's a lot of these sheets in here. And it just keeps going and going. You got your armor protections items here. This section right here is normally on the back side of this one. But if you play Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 edition, you know fighters get tons and tons and tons and tons of feats. They took the feats that would be normally here and they slapped them onto the back side, so you have enough area to get most of your feats onto your character sheet. So that's handy dandy. As I said before, you have your class skills right up here on this sheet. You got the monk sheet. This just keeps going and going. You got your modifications to the monk sheet. You got all your class skills right here for your monk. You flip it open. You got your basic information over here. You got a wealth section here for whatever reason, because monks are dirt poor all the time. So you have extra area for wealth that you... Well, I think they combine. Yeah, that's the same thing. They got a large section for feats. They got notes. You got a section on experience, racial traits, and class features right here for the monk. Then you have the Paladin sheet. Yet again, there is a change for all the items that are proficient. Our skills, class skills, are checked here for the Paladin. You flip it open, you got your basic information here, and then you have your mount information. Because Paladins have a mount, they could summon a horse or a griffin depending on your spell. You got your information for your mount, the special abilities and skills tied to your mount. You got your spell slot section right here from level 0 to 4th for your Paladin for Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. You got your class features section right here. You got your armor and protective items section right here. And you got your smite information, because you know Paladins do love their smites. So this is actually really nice. By the way, this took me a long time to find this pack on Amazon, just so I can actually reshare the link to it. You got the ranger section right here. Obviously, yet again, and all your ranger skills are checked here for your convenience. You have the same basic setup over here, as well as you have a short section for feats, but you also have an animal companion section, just like the Druid here, as well as your spell slot system, which is 0 to 4th level. You got information on your daily spells right here section. You got armor protective items, class features section right here, and racial traits right here. And this just keeps going and going, because this is a really deep... I'm checking my clock time on this. You got rogue class feature, class skills right here checked off for you already. You got the same basic information over here, feats, notes, and then you got skill DCs, because you know the rogue is the skill monkey. You have to be the most knowledgeable person about your skills as being the rogue. You got rules for your balance, difficult surface, narrow surface, bluff checks, climb checks, modifiers for that disabled device checks, disguise is checks, escape artist checks, jump checks, move silently checks, open lock checks, search, sleight of hand checks. You got your tumble, your use magic item, and your use rope checks right here. So you're set as a rogue. You got this sheet right here. You just open it up and like, oh, I wonder what the DCs should be for. How do I do a balance check on a sloped surface? Oh, that's how I do a balance check for a sloped surface. You got your basic information on the back side, and boom, you're good. In the case of the Sorcerer and Wizard, they actually, weirdly enough, share a sheet. So it's Sorcerer/Wizard. You got blanked out. They did not check anything here because Sorcerer and Wizard have two different lists slightly. So they did not check them out for you ahead of time. You have a Wands and Staff usage section here, as well as your feats right here, your familiar information. So you got a familiar, you got information right here. You got your spell slots section right here, as well as little special lists right here for special modifications. Specialty school, prohibited spells, etc. You happen to have right here on the backside your basic information as before. And then, this is going to get really nice. This happens to be a generic sheet. This is non-class specific, so there's nothing checked off here at all for your character. There's nothing modified on the front page. There's nothing modified here for any specific character class. There's nothing, no modifications here. You got a spell slots section because they don't know if your character is going to have spell slots or not. You might be multi-classing between wizard and fighter. So, there you go. You got the basic information on this backside. So you got a nice little fold-out pamphlet universal sheet for all combinations of classes. Now, this gets really cool. Wizards of the Coast was pushing a offshoot system based off of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. So I happen to have in this pack, comes with it, if you've seen, when I held this up, there's a bonus D20 Modern character sheet in here. So, we have D20 Modern character sheets. You have your basic information up here, as before, just like all your character classes. It's based on largely the same exact system as Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, except they modified a few things like demolition skill. You got a demolition skill in modern D20 Modern. You got a drive skill. You got a forgery. You got all kinds of other skills. Like I just listed the ones I know off the top of my head, like a drive and a few others. Computer use, drive, decipher script, which I think you actually have in 3.5. I forgot. You got a navigate skill, repair skill, research skills. Yeah, you got all the basics there. Then you have a nice section for your allegiances and your languages. And you got your FX skills section. FX skills are essentially spells in D20 Modern. That's just what they went with the term. Instead of magic, it's called FX abilities. FX abilities. Brain fart. You got a section on the backside for your talents and your possessions, as well as your carry capacity calculation right over here. And right over here is your feat section right here, as well as your notes. So that's handy dandy and that stuff. And now we get to the last few pages. These last pages are spell listing pages for bards, clerics, druids, etc., etc., etc. You have a cleric sheet here with 2 pages facing each other. You got air domain, animal domain, chaos domain, death domain, destruction domain, earth, evil, fire, good, healing, knowledge, law, luck, magic, plant, protection, strength, sun, travel, trickery, war, and water domain. And then you flip it over to the other side and you happen to have the list for spells for the bard from the core rulebook. So all you have to do is just take this sheet and you could copy this out. And you could use this as your character sheet. You have a spell slot track, spells cast today tracker, spells days, spells known, and spell save DC. Or save DCs for your spells. And the same thing is replicated out across multiple sheets. Another one for the cleric. That's the domain sheet for the cleric. And then you have the actual spells sheet for the cleric. You got Ranger section right here. So you have cleric spells that goes onto the back side, and then you have a Ranger section. You got a Druid section right here, from 0 level spells to 9th level spells. You got a section for Assassins, Blackguard, Paladin. So you also have stuff for Advanced Player's Handbook 2 classes. You got Sorcerer and Wizard, both sides. You got 2 different checkboxes to determine whether you are number of prepared spells and known. So whether you know it, and then whether you prepared it, and how many times you prepared it. So there you go. That is actually a pretty chunky. That's how many sheets are in this thing. That's a pretty chunky bundle of character sheets, and they're actually quite nice and well organized. I do say if you're not using the default one out of the book, or you have not homebrewed or designed your own character sheets off your computer, these are actually quite nice as a good base foundation for character sheets. If you don't have computer to edit and make your own sheets or download sheets to print, you couldn't go wrong with buying these sheets. These actually are really nice. I would give these a 4-star. The only catch now is they're actually kind of on the quasi-expensive side, but they're not the ridiculously expensive side for character sheets. So if I would definitely say buy these character sheets. So you can put it in, if you have a computer, you can put them into a computer and modify them, or print them, recopy or print them out in a new formats with some modifications to fit your games. That's basically the only way you truly get better than these sheets, is basically going and editing them in a computer to update them more, to add more details or more sections for knowledge checks and stuff like that, and knowledge skills. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you really enjoy this video, please share this video around. If I get a lot of people covering, liking and sharing my 3.5 stuff, I actually have tons and tons of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 books that I can go through and compile into lists and guides. I mean, I have like 95% of all the books for Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. These are just some of them. I got an entire shelf just full of them right here. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And see you next time.